Hello, everyone, and thank you very much for tuning in to this presentation of the work we've been doing in January around defining new strategy for the first half of 2024, but also going forward, of course. The key word that I want you to take note of here is, of course, decentralization. That's really what this is all about. And I think for many of you that tune in, I don't really have to tell you that decentralization, of course, is the DNA of a distributed blockchain. But inside that, I guess you can talk about three phases to any blockchain project. There's the initial building of the core, which has to have some centralized approach in most cases, at least, also to be sure that the solidity is there, that the direction is there. Once you have that in place, then the next step is really beginning to decentralize, and we think we're ready for that now. And at a later point, really a full handover of the entire project to the community when it's mature enough, and it can be to a large extent controlled entirely by the community. So those are the three natural phases of a modern blockchain project. And if we look at the first phase, we have really in the past years built a very solid blockchain. It's a mature project now. It works. It has worked really without incident for a long time now, minting blocks at a high speed and comparing very well with other layer ones on things like very quick finality, scalability, thousands of transactions per second, and with our let's say special USPs, special markers of integrated ID level at the foundation. So we have a project now that is in production, is working very well, is comparing very well. And really, the next stage of Concordium's strategy is now to build a stronger community around this. And that is decentralization. And again, I probably don't have to tell most of you why decentralization is important. There is really no centralized option in the long run for distributed blockchain, because this is about building a piece of infrastructure. If you will, you could compare it to building an internet. But you can't, after that, then build the Facebooks and the Googles and the Amazons and all of the users of that infrastructure. So decentralization is the way to get solid traction and to really get a piece of infrastructure ingrained into the economy. And that's across a whole range of areas. It's of course around the use of it through multiple different projects building their solutions on top of that piece of infrastructure. It's also about governance. It's about the communities around it. It's about the operational function and the technical aspects. And we will touch to some extent on all of those areas in the next hour. What we have done here in the past few weeks at Concordium is that we have had every department to come with their contribution to what they can do to help us decentralize more, how they can support communities around us, how we can be a good partner for everyone that chooses Concordium as their foundation. Aligning those departments around that and setting up very clear specific responsibilities, very clear measurements for those responsibilities, very clear assignment of the various things that we want to achieve to individual persons and teams. And I want to touch on the key objectives that we have for the first half and just run those through with you before we go to the individual presentations. So key objectives for Concordium in the coming months and years, for that matter, is across a range of areas. It is around growing and incentivizing and engaging communities. It's about getting many more projects and use cases, both crypto native and more corporate use cases engaged. It is about distributing our information and distributing the governance to other people around us. It is about continuing to innovate, and it is about continuing to all the time increase our developer community and get more and more people to build on Concordium and have insight into how you do build on Concordium and support that best possible. It is also about increasing visibility, increasing access to Concordium, increasing the liquidity on the various exchanges and the on-ramps that we have. And we are working with specific objectives and specific obligations and responsibilities in all of these areas and very clearly define them in the coming months and of course also after the first half. So what you'll see in a second is a brief recap of the many things that we have discussed. There are of course more than we can cover in about an hour. We're going to see about 40 minutes of presentations from the various departments, and then I'm going to take some questions towards the end. But it will all be about what we're going to do to decentralize, what we're going to do to increase awareness, what are we going to do to increase liquidity and access to the token and to the project in general, how we can ease onboarding, etc. When we've seen the videos, then I will come back, as I said, for an AMA, and I will also briefly run through some immediate initiatives, some immediate consequences of this new strategy and what we are already doing now and will be doing in the very, very near future, i.e. either within days or a few weeks from today. You will have a chance to ask questions during the presentation that I will address towards the end. It won't be an extended AMA, and I would ask you to keep the questions to questions that are relevant to the strategy, relevant to our deliverables for H1. I will be back with my normal AMA for broader questions. So try to keep the questions around the deliverables here, the strategy, and the decentralization aspects. All the other questions, including ones that might come in along the way, we will deal with in more AMAs as usual, as we usually do. But this time, please keep it to the strategy. Please keep it to what we're discussing in this particular hour. So with that, I'm going to pass it on to the videos that we have made from the various departments, and I will see you again in about 40-45 minutes. Thank you for tuning in.
Hi everyone, so jumping into engineering and product for H1 2024. I am really excited about what's going to happen in 2024 for us at Concordium and how we're going to bring all of you on the journey with us and make you feel part of the family. But before we jump into H1, I also wanted to take the opportunity and talk about where we've been, where are we now, and how does that prepare us for the future. So if we think about what we have put effort into, we've really made sure that our technology is very solid, and we've worked very closely with our partners and enterprises to make sure that what we've built can actually prepare us for the mass scale that we want to do today. With that, we feel that it's really time now to bring on even more use cases, developers, and enterprises, and make sure that we can scale massively in 2024 and beyond. And really feel that the technology we have is rock solid for that, and we're really proud of what we've built. So some of the things that we want to look even more on in 2024 is, for instance, governance. We will be releasing governance voting in June 2024, which we also announced last year. We want to even take that, we want to extend that more, and we're going to have our science team, for instance, look into that, which I'm going to talk about soon in this presentation. Another part of it is also sharing that we are going to put even more effort into the development community, which is extremely important for us now that we want to extend and decentralize and really make sure that we engage developers out there, which you're also going to hear more of. I am really excited for what 2024 has to bring. And before we jump into H1 and dive more deep into product, I also want to take the opportunity to introduce Erasmus, who is our Director of Product, who will be talking more about that. Erasmus joined us in December, and I am extremely happy to have him on board. He comes with a really strong track record, and he's been amazing just in the short period we've had him. So with that said, really excited for 2024, and I'm really excited to be working even closer with all of you and for what's coming. And now I'm going to we're going to head to Erasmus to talk more about H1. Thank you.
So I want to talk a bit about the roadmap for the token experience. First of all, we want to launch a new wallet suite that enables users to onboard much, much faster than currently is possible. We already have the first products almost ready, and they're going to be rolling out on Android and iOS very soon, and we look forward to hearing your feedback. The next category of features that we roll out centered around identity product. Concordium, in its DNA and its core level, is an identity layer that is privacy first, and we want to show and demonstrate to the general audience how powerful these products are. One line that we want to focus on are verifiable credentials, which basically lets any issuer issue credentials, let's say an institution like an academic certificate, and have an independent verifier actually go to the owner of that credential and verify independently and a privacy-first approach that they actually own those credentials. Furthermore, we are working on products around identity attributes. That could be, for example, age verification to go into a website or a service that would demand such a thing. more and more services are demanding more accurate and more safe tools to actually identify by for example, the age of users. And we had the tools to do that in a privacy-centric manner that puts the user rights at the top. We are investigating portable KYC. That's a tool for compliance, regulatory compliance checks. Furthermore, we want to roll out and ensure that there is a smooth Ethereum bridge that is robust and super user-friendly. Finally, we launched the EuroE, and we make sure that's distributed, that there's deep liquidity, and that there's plenty of use cases for that token. Another key constituent on the Concordium network is, of course, the developer and the developer community. We want to be sure that the developers have an absolute full experience building on Concordium. So we be launching a suite of wallet SDKs that allow developers to integrate to their services with as little restriction as possible. Furthermore, we are going to be offering reusable smart contract components, which are basically like a kind of building block that you can put together to create a smart contract in the fastest way possible. Also, we will be rolling out factory patents in order to make it easier for projects in other ecosystems to port over their code and their solutions and Concord. Chaperone accounts will also be rolled out. That's a standard that allows a chaperone to users access to the network without helping them to first do an identity check. Chaperone can then control what kind of activities they can do on the network and will then limit the scope and take on the liability. This will allow many use cases for a much easier first onboarding experience with their users, and we're really excited about this standard. Oracle will allow data to be accessed by developers. We already have an Oracle partner that we're working with, and we want to ensure that we have a broad data coverage to get the right data at the right time. Lastly, we will also be looking at getting a public data API on the network. If you are an external service and you want to get a look at some of the basic data and operations and fetch some of that data, you can then use this endpoint. I believe this step in the developer experience will be a big win for Concordium developer community. You'll hear much about our plans in the developer relations section in this presentation, and I look forward to talking to all of you. It's only by building together that we can build something very powerful here. So I thank you for your time and look forward to talking to you in the future.
Thank you, Erasmus, for walking us through H1 and parts of what's going to happen in the roadmap. If we then look at other things that are going to happen in engineering, I'm really happy to share that we will be lowering the transactions fees 7th of February. We are going to lower them with a very, very large amount, and we're going to share the scientific paper and more information about how much we're lowering it with and everything that's coming this week. So stay tuned for that. But I wanted to share that we will be lowering the fees with a really big amount across all transactions. So both simple transactions and complex transactions will see a reduce in price. And we're very excited for that because that's been an ask, and we hope that you all are excited for that as well. Another thing that we really feel is going to be, we hope that it's going to be very appreciated, especially in the development community, is that we will be releasing our blue paper. And what's interesting with that is we've always said that Concordium is a science-backed blockchain, and we are, and we're really proud of it. We still work with universities, and we have a really close collaboration with them. and we also have scientists in-house, and releasing the blue paper will also showcase the seriousness of our security-backed blockchain. That's also going to happen in H1. We will be looking into more decentralization of governance. I did mention a bit of that in the intro, but I think it's also interesting to talk about if we're looking into decentralization, that also means that decision-making and bigger decisions should be part of that governance and that decentralization. So I'm really excited for that, and I really am excited to bring more people into the Concordium family when it comes to the governance and decision-making. So we will have science team look into that and how we go about that in a theory state, as in us talking to actually being able to offer that on the blockchain. We're also investigating privacy use cases. So privacy has been a very hot topic, and it's come up because we have the underlying of identity on the protocol level. It's also been discussed if we should allow for full private transactions or not. I think an interesting approach here is that we're going to be partnering even closer with our commercial team and work closely with some of the use cases that have been asking for this, so we in engineering and science can get a better understanding of the use case and the customer need, so we then make sure that what we're offering actually can solve that. We, of course, are going to work even closely with security. I mean, security is an extremely important aspect of a layer 1 blockchain, so we will be further looking into pin test, operational security, assessments, and make sure that our platform is secure, which I may say it has been, and we of course want to continue on that. We also want to make sure that we can share more information outwards, like what does it mean to be a layer 1 blockchain and security in that area? Having a blockchain as an infrastructure, how will that secure some of the companies, how will it secure them from cyber attacks, as an example? I think it's really important and interesting, and I think it's also good for companies out there to understand how security plays a role in blockchain and how we at Concordium are working with security in order to make sure we have an extremely secure platform. From SRE, we are also going to make developers able to build and release their dApps on their own. So that's also going in line with decentralization. We want to make sure that the friction we have in place or anything that's hard for them to do on their own, we're going to be able to remove that friction and make it possible for them to do so, and make it possible for all of you out there who are developers to be able to release and build the apps on your own. So that's a little of the things that's going to happen in the upcoming months in H1. And we're now going to jump into development community. Thank you. I am really excited to share that in 2024, we will put even more effort into the development community. We have brought in a really strong development community manager who has a great track record. He has prior to this been at Polygon as head of development community, and he's going to make sure that we get set up and have the needed sessions for everyone in the development community to thrive, and for us to make it more engaging and to make sure that the developers really feel part of this journey. I think the most important thing as the CTPO is to share that I want everyone, even if you're external or internal, to feel part of the Concordium family. And with that said, also make sure that we internally engage with the developers and the ecosystem as they were part of us. We should see ourselves as the same family. And because of that, one of the things I really want us to do in 2024 is to make sure that we engage more with the developers and the ecosystem and really share what's going on, take you all along with us, and make sure that we do this together. So we will have an AMA where we're going to share more about what we're going to be doing from the development community. So please stay tuned for that. But I want to share some of the activities that we know that we are already going to start, that you can start look out for. We will, of course, post the exact dates. But some of the things that we're going to do is, for instance, we're going to have bi-weekly Discord hours where we're going to have one more technical and one more business focused. So the technical one will be where developers can jump and ask questions, and we will have engineers being able to reply to them on the spot. And then the other one is going to be where we invite developers, entrepreneurs who've built on top of us so they can share their best practices and what their platform is about or their application is about, so you can also get to know them better. We're going to do something a little similar on Twitter as well, where we're gonna have discussions on key highlights of the blockchain and what's going on in the industry. Another one we're introducing is the Q&A session with rewards. So if you tune into them and you answer some of the questions we have, we're going to be able to reward you with CCD or EuroEase, just to make it more engaging and more fun. The one that I'm really excited about is also the Concordium Development Ambassador Program. So we are going to relaunch that, and we're going to do a new one that is catered to developers from the development community. So please stay tuned for that, because we're really excited to have you on that journey if you would like to become a development ambassador here at Concordium. And we're also going to release a Concordium Expert Program. So this one is a little more advanced. It's really for really senior engineers or CTOs who want to be part of the expert program. But as I said, more information is going to come in the upcoming weeks. And the last one I wanted to share amongst everything we're going to do, but I want you guys to really take with you from this H1 presentation, is that we are going to have hackathons and events. We have done that in past, but we're going to do even more of them. We're going to make sure we are on side events to bigger hackathons, and we're going to also have more engineers represented there. So really excited for 2024 and for the development community, and to meet more developers and use cases in 2024. It's going to be very exciting.
Over the past few months, we have gathered input from our sounding boards, from community members, and a lot of other stakeholders. We have also very closely been following all your encouragements, ideas, and feedback in our community channels, and thank you very much for your contribution. At the end of the day, only through dialogue with our community we can succeed. What we will present today is a new way of operating towards a more decentralized marketing. To get an idea of the changes, I'll briefly show you how we have been operating until today. Here is a very simplified overview of our current marketing process. On the left side, you see all our departments: products, engineering, science, commercial, finance, HR, trading floor, and developer community. So what they do is that they brief marketing on new use cases, partnerships, product releases, news and updates, events, and all sorts of achievements. Until today, Concordium Marketing has internally created the creatives and the storytelling and the copywriting and everything else. And we have then posted the content to our communities through our PR press agency, and occasionally also through paid media, influencers, and a few other channels. This is how it has worked until today. Starting tomorrow, we are implementing significant changes to this process, moving toward a fully decentralized marketing operation. This transition will be supported, facilitated, and to a certain extent, also incentivized by the marketing department. The left side will remain more or less unchanged, because most stories and news originate from within the organization and will continue to be coordinated by our internal marketing department. To craft future narratives and establish the foundation for actual storytelling, copy, and creatives, we have now partnered up with a Web3 agency. So once the material is ready from the Web3 agency and approved by compliance, it will be released on our new content distribution platform, DAM. We will continue to distribute content through our own channels, of course, and also in the communities, as well as through our PR and press agency. Additionally, and that's the new thing, is that we will launch a content ambassador program, have an agency or more agencies to cover influencers and KOLs. Anna, our project manager, will tell you a little bit more about what to expect in the near future. And with this, I will pass the word to Anna.
One important step to decentralization is, of course, enabling decentralization. So we're introducing a digital asset management system. So basically, this is giving you access to all logos, fonts, colors, everything, and much more than that. So think of it kind of as an evolution of the media that is already available. This is going to be a platform where you can get access to all of our assets. You can access all articles, thumbnails, logos, fonts, images, everything is going to be in here. It's going to be unlimited access to all of our content, one place where you'll find everything, super easy to use. And it's also going to be a collaborative platform, so your content from our community will also have a place in here. Basically, all Concordium assets will be in here. Personally, I'm looking very much forward to this. I think it's going to be great. It's going to make it much easier for everyone to create content about Concordium. Another thing, and I'm also very, very excited about this, is our ambassador program. So happy to introduce this. It's also going hand in hand with our digital asset management system. As you can see, we are launching next week on February 7th together with our digital asset management system. So this is going to be very content focused. We're going to get help from people who are just as passionate about Concordium that we are out there. I know some of you are watching this right now. So creating content, sharing content, just generally sharing the word around the project. So already now you can go to our website. There's a new landing page and you can sign up for the waitlist, or if you're just interested in becoming an ambassador for Concordium. We also have a new agency partner, so it's Giga, and Giga is a Web3 agency. So I know a lot of the things that we have been doing in the past has in some ways been a bit more Web2 than what we see other projects doing out there. And that is great. We will continue also doing that. We will continue talking to the big institutions and all of these things. But we also want to attract builders, attract the crypto natives, the degens, in a much more targeted way than we have been doing in the past. So happy to introduce Giga, whom we will be partnering with from this week on.
Hello there everyone, it's a pleasure to meet you. My name's Shadi, I'm the GP of Giga. We're primarily a creative marketing agency focused on native crypto projects, primarily L1s. What we're best at is getting builders to adopt new ecosystems and build actual thriving projects, and finding the users and awareness of those ecosystems to help those builders get that early traction. We're really excited to join Concordium in their effort to explode on the market this year. It feels like all of the timings are lining up and everything's starting to make sense, and it's overall a very interesting challenge for us. So we look forward to meeting all of you in real life, hopefully this year on the crypto circuit. And for everyone else, I hope to see you soon. Bye.
And of course, we won't change the things that are working. And some of the best things in terms of account creation, CCD price, and just generally people talking about Concordium, That's the airdrop campaigns that we're doing. So we've done some on KuCoin with Bit2Me, and they've just performed really, really great. So yeah, happy to share that the phase 2 of the ongoing airdrop, staking airdrop with Bit2Me is kicking off tomorrow on February 1st. If you haven't already, I suggest that you check it out, that you participate, that you share the word, just get the news out there. Yeah, that's all from marketing. Really looking forward to the next half year and everything after that.
Hello everyone, my name is Jonas Dibar Bang. I am the Chief Commercial Officer of Concordium. Thank you very much for tuning in to listen to our new strategy. Today I will take you through a commercial journey and telling you a little bit about our structure, strategy, and also tell more about our focus point for 2024. So basically, to support the decentralization and scaling, we're going to focus a lot on our ecosystem and also what we can bring on board to the ecosystem. And basically to the commercial team, there is 4 business areas. We have the enterprise part, the partner part, the ecosystem part, and the grant program part. And then let's dig into the first area. So it's basically enterprises. So let's start by defining what is an enterprise. So an enterprise is a big company that is well known. This company is of value that when they build on Concordium, it's a validation of a really good solution. And to approach this specific companies, we are working very targetedly. We have a set list of targeted accounts with a clear account plan and defined goals. But also, how do we succeed with this? So we, of course, are very well connected, but we are also going to bridge the gap between Web 2 and Web 3 by using and utilizing the ecosystem that we have here at Concordium. So we're basically going to bring the ecosystem as a channel partner with us in the discussions with enterprise companies. And this is how we scale, but also how to increase the activity for our ecosystem. We are also in collaboration and discussions with a lot of companies that will have the possibility to operate as a channel partner or as an ambassador. By doing this, they have the possibility to dig into their business network, but also be Concordium's extended hand out there talking to customers. And this will also increase the activity on the platform and also in the ecosystem. I just also wanted to highlight that we are also working like very partner focused. And I want to start, what is a partner? Because it could be 2 things. A partner for Concordium can both be someone that we need to have to fully function and fully operate as a layer 1 blockchain, but also a company that we can utilize for going after Web 2 companies together with. So it's basically to get these partners to become an extension of sales and consultancy and become a brand ambassador towards other companies. And we're in the middle of defining the partners that we're going to work with to target the Web 2 companies. So we'll have a dedicated list of accounts that we go after together with the partners. And of course, this is also something of the decentralization plan, because when we're working close together with the partners in our ecosystem, we bring in more activity to the blockchain, but we also give added value for people developing on the Concordium blockchain by helping them in a go-to-market model. And also what I want to mention is some of the big focus areas we are going to have for 2024 is real-world assets, track and trace, but also IG. We will dive into this further down the road in another AMA that's coming up. So let's go to the next part. It's the ecosystems. So what are we going to do in the ecosystem? We're very actively focusing on increasing transactions throughout the ecosystem. So we're really putting resources to focus on how do we get more activity, but also how can we support the projects that we have, like both from a technical side, but it could also be to a go-to-market and a marketing side. So, but also we have the important thing of onboarding new projects to the ecosystem and how to help them to do transactions. It's one thing that we are having a big focus on for 2024. It's really taking a look on some of the use cases we have to see the solution that they have developed. Let's say that they're solving specific real world problems. In those kind of cases, we can focus on helping them with both their go-to-market but also their marketing. And how we're going to work with every account in the ecosystem is basically like managed accounts. So we will have solid plans for each account, and we will have a lot of reoccurring meetings where we will really listen in to the companies in the ecosystem to see that they have what they need, but also see how we can support them from a commercial side. So going through the last part of the commercial area, it's the grant program. It's basically how to onboard more people developing on Concordium blockchain and attract developers. So what we're going to do is basically involve a more technical part by utilizing the development community. So we're going to really focus on that. We're also going to improve the grant program by making a more smooth application process. So when you send an application, it's basically one landing page, so it gets more easier. What we also are going to look into is what can we more add to the grant program. So we're looking into, it's going to be more than money. What can you get? Can you get engineering support? But we're also going to add added value partners. It could be that you get an AWS voucher or a Google voucher, but it's basically add value to the grant program. So, and I'm very excited to do that. One thing that we are also going to add to the grant program is CCD bounties. It's basically when we would need something from Concordium's side, or we have a use case that needs something, then we could add a CCD bounty in CCD tokens. And this is also one of the big things that we're going to do to really activate the ecosystem and get the interest to develop more functions and solutions for the Concordium blockchains. We will have more infos about this coming later on. I'm very happy and I'm very excited about the structure and strategy for 2024. The new focus has already started well. We will see a pickup in transactions, and I'm certain that 2024 is going to be a great year for Concordium. Thank you very much for listening in. I'm very excited to meet everyone in the community. Thanks.
We will be focusing on improving the availability and support of the CCD. In particular, when it comes to custodians, exchanges, and validators, we now have significant experience, which is helping us develop a lot of documentation and support so that we can make the whole onboarding experience much smoother for everyone. We also have a lot of interest from on-ramps, which is new. We know that this week both Swipeluxe, Word, and Bit2Me will be going live with their CCD and URE integrations, which means that it will be a lot easier to get hold of both CCDs and UREs than it has been the case before. We also have a lot of increased interest for Concordex and push for us to be available on DEXs. That means we'll be focusing on assisting with the bridges that are available. We know that there are several in the works at the moment, and these will be also delivering availability to the Ethereum, Solana, and Cardano ecosystems. There's also a lot of push for us to assist in enabling wrapped CCD, which will also be available on these different new bridges. A new focus area will be improved tooling and information for traders. we're going to have a lot of focus on communicating directly with trading communities and in supporting the development of analytical tools. We've seen some kind of these tools, for example, from our Dutch community, the Concordium Explorer.nl is a very good example of what these basic analytical tools can do. And we would like to see more of this kind of activity, and we would like to assist and support in developing these and making sure that the communities that deal with this have what they need to do to undertake such development activities. We also going to have further infrastructure partnerships within custody and validation. These, of course, are cornerstone integrations. There will be more news on this in the coming months. This week, Figment, an institutional validator, will be going live on the network, which is huge news for everyone, and is a huge stamp of approval of what we've been trying to do so far. So over the coming months, we'll be seeing more developments within exchanges, custodians, and validators, and focusing on making the onboarding experience as a whole smoother, simpler, and a great experience for everyone.
The financial department of Concordium will also focus on our new ambitious strategy, which has focus on decentralization, and we'll do that in several ways. In addition to working closely with commercial department and other departments on their strategies, we in finance have our own set of initiatives aiming at using Concordium's financial resources in a way that supports decentralization. One initiative deals with the holdings and management of our own Concordium's own CCDs. Today, by far the largest part of Concordium's own CCDs are held on accounts directly operated by Concordium. In the first half of 2024, a significant part of these CCDs will be placed with institutional providers of custody services and staking services. I believe that will not only support the business of our direct partners, it will also incentivize our partners to promote the CCDs with their other customers. One example of that is our relationship with Copper, one of the leading custody providers who have already integrated with Concordium, and more will surely come. Finance will also work with commercial department to incentivize other companies to use the Concordium blockchain as the basis for their blockchain operations. We have previously announced an allocation of 650 million CCDs for that purpose. And in the first half of 2024, we'll focus more on putting that major resource to work effectively. A major milestone for Concordium has been achieved with the launch earlier this month of the EUROE stablecoin on Concordium. With the Concordium EUROE, payments in euro can be made instantly and at a very low cost. EUROE is not only a stablecoin, it is actually electronic money that can always be exchanged one-to-one to the euro. Every time someone makes a payment with Concordium EUROE, it also creates activity on the Concordium blockchain. And to promote the adoption of the EUROE, Concordium ourselves will lead the way and shift a significant part of our own euro payments to EUROE. That includes grants, supplier payments, internal transfers, etc. Finally, Concordium is in the process of decentralizing our governance of the blockchain. A concrete plan for that has previously been announced. The decentralization of the governance is a multi-year planned process, and the first election for CCD holders to elect 2 members to the governance committee will take place in 2024. Thank you.
Thank you very much to everyone that contributed to these videos. I hope you enjoyed hearing a little bit from each department about some of the things we are going to implement in the first half. There's obviously a lot more detail to that, but we wanted to give you a little overview, and let me also remind you that there will be a series of AMAs with various departments during February, where we will delve into much more detail, and you can ask specific questions to those particular department if something is of specific interest to you. Let me just finish off here by recapping the key objectives for the first half. And you can see them here on the screen, but what we're going to focus on is to grow, engage, and also incentivize our communities around us. We will have very specific focus on increasing the numbers of transaction and activity on the blockchain, on increasing the number of use cases, building and getting over the line and actually going live on the mainnet. We will focus on increasing volumes on exchanges and increasing the access through various on-ramps. We have as a specific objective to increase the number of wallets that are using Concordium. We will be looking to increase interoperability with other blockchains through bridges and through collaborations. And of course, with our science and tech teams, we will continue to innovate and follow what's going on in the space and add our contribution to innovation in the space in general. Here at the end, I would like to also show you some very specific activities that we are launching at this point or in the very near future. And hereby I mean certainly within February or shorter time frames here shortly after this presentation. So some of the important things that we are already doing or immediately doing as a consequence of the new strategy is that we will ourselves support the Euro-E by converting our current payments where possible into Euro-E. That means instead of using USDT or fiat, where possible, we will use Euro-E to get traction on that project. It has already been mentioned that we're going to launch the ambassador program for content, and a key element of that is the new digital asset management platform where you directly can access all of our content and even get templates for creating your own with much easier access to the various properties and digital assets that we have at Concordium. Both of these things will be launched in the immediate future. I think the official launch date for the ambassador program is the 7th of February, and in connection with that, also the digital asset management platform. You can already sign up for, if you wish to join that, you can sign up on our website and join a wait list, give us a little bit of information about what your particular interest is. We will be launching some new exchange campaigns also very shortly, particularly staking campaigns. We will be lowering transaction fees very significantly with a view to facilitate high volume transaction projects. We will announce or release a paper around the governance voting. The voting itself will be in June 2024, where for the first time the community can appoint the first 2 members to the governance committee, but we will release a paper during February around how exactly is that going to work. We talked, particularly in Nebraska, around the developer community that we're going to focus a lot on. We have added resource to that and will initiate also with immediate effect a series of interactions with developer community to support that better. Our grant program will launch with a revamp shortly, which will be added resources to just monetary resources, and also with a little bit longer time frame, we are considering giving the community impact on choosing some of the grants that we're gonna give out in the future, so that you can play a part in which use cases you actually believe in and support, and where you think a grant is recommended or useful to the community. During February, we will also launch the first version of a new wallet. That is a first version. I would like to underline that, but the key objective of the new wallet is a couple of things. Much easier onboarding so that you can actually download the wallet and then at a later point choose to create your account and go through the ID process. But you will have access to resources and a communication channel with Concordium through the new wallet. That's something I look very much forward to getting launched in a more slick and more approachable format than perhaps we've had in the past. We will also be encouraging other wallets to integrate the CCD and Euro-E. So we will launch the first of several SDKs in the very near future. That will make that process much easier for third-party wallets. We announced in this video, and actually yesterday, the new partnership with Figment, which is a very important infrastructure provider in the entire crypto space, a key staking provider that we're proud and happy to have integrated now, and will support institutional activity and institutional trading of the token. We also announced a couple of new on-ramps, SwipeLux and Verts, and those will be also launched very shortly. And we are discussing with a couple of other on-ramps, which is a different way to get access to the CCD tokens than just on exchanges. And then you may be familiar with our Agora project that has been used mainly for ESG use cases. We're launching a new version of that also during February, which with a focus on real-world assets, which of course is one of the major use cases for blockchain in general, and something that's very much discussed in the communities and the industry as a whole. How can we get a much safer environment for real-world assets that actually would be much easier to register, much easier to transfer on a blockchain than in the current financial system. So we're going to support that with Agora and launch some interesting upgrades to that platform to support real-world asset adoption. And now I'll take a few questions. I've asked the team, because it's going to be a relatively short AMA here, so anything related to specific use cases, etc., will be pushed to future AMAs, of which there will be a series during the month of February, including one of my own. But here we will focus on questions relating to what we have just gone through. And here's the first one. Kindly share all updates which are needed to know about the recent Concordium's reorganization. I guess we can say that that's actually what we've been doing in the past 45 minutes. The focus is to center our activities around supporting decentralization, around supporting communities, and around providing more resource for people outside of the organization that wishes to engage with Concordium. So I think that has been largely covered, but again, I remind you that the key message here is really about decentralization. How do we take this fairly mature project that we have and get much more interest around it in a decentralized way, and getting much more people building on it and supporting the development of the ecosystem going forward. I'll take the next question, please. When can we expect the transparency report, and is it indeed a genuine transparency report? I would say yes to the latter. We're trying to be as transparent as we can, obviously, in a transparency report. I know that it has been promised a little earlier, but we felt that it was appropriate to include what we have communicated today into the transparency report. So it is forthcoming. I would expect during February, but we thought it would be prudent to include some of the things we've discussed here today. Next question, please. Regarding the layoffs, can we expect information on who left the company and who joined Concordium? Actually, no, because this is covered by labor laws, not least Danish labor laws. So It's not that when you let people go that you communicate a list of who those people are. Some of those people are in the notice period and still working, and we appreciate that very much. But we're not going to put out a list saying this, and that person has been let go. Obviously, on a continuous basis, we will upgrade our team pages, etc., on our website. So that would be the way to keep yourself informed there. But specifically saying this person or that person has been let go is actually not something you do under Danish labor laws, and I don't think appropriate in any case. Next question, please. What is a blue paper? Yeah, Nibras was referring to a blue paper, and you probably all familiar with the terms white paper. A blue paper is typically a more all-encompassing document. A white paper tends to be fairly narrowly focused on a specific subject, on a specific project or specific thinking behind a project. A blue paper is a broader, more descriptive paper of many more aspects of a blockchain, and I think it'll give a very good overview of where we are with Concordium, what underpins the project, etc. It is, from the information I have, a document of several hundred pages. So for those of you that like to delve into things in deep detail, that'll be a good opportunity for you. And that will be forthcoming in the next couple of months, I imagine, because it is quite a substantial document. So look forward to that if you really want to deep dive into the underlying science, the technology, and the various applications of the Concordium blockchain. Next question here: is it really worth doing airdrops? Probably just inflation as I see it. Well, it's not inflation because it is CCDs from the foundation that is already in existence, so it is not inflation. It's also important to stress that the airdrops that we have recently been doing and will be doing are related to staking campaigns. So the purpose here is really to get more people involved in this, to get more people seeing the opportunity that the Concordium provides, and typically it would be a sweetener, if you will, for people that choose to buy CCDs and stake them. So it is not an airdrop in the sense that you just give away money and people can go out and dump it on the market. So related to staking campaigns, making that attractive to get involved. And actually, we're happy to see partners that we have wanting to do campaigns around it, wanting to spread the word about Concordium and CCD. So you should see it in that context. But it's certainly not inflation, given that it's existing tokens that are being distributed. Next question, please. You mentioned transaction fee reductions. Can you elaborate, and will they stay low? From the outset, we explained that we would be reducing fees as transactions increased on the blockchain. And I hope you occasionally check in on the various CCD scans and Concordium Explorers, because actually there is a pickup in transactions, so it's consistent with that. That, however, is not the direct reason that we're doing this now. It is because the fee structure on Concordium is linear, meaning that a basic transaction has a certain cost, and a more elaborate, complex transaction has a linearly increased cost. It is our estimation that the cost of complex transactions is too high compared to comparable blockchains. Obviously, very important in various DeFi projects where some of the transactions are more complex. And in order to address that with immediate effect, or more specifically on February the 7th, this will take effect, we have chosen to reduce the whole linear level to a very significantly lower level. This means that the base transaction will be very cheap, which will be beneficial for projects with very many data registrations. But it also means that complex transactions will be very much cheaper than they are at the moment. This is not necessarily a permanent situation, because what we will do then in the next months is that we will work with our WASM code and make sure that complex transactions gets anyway easier to execute on Concordium. And as and when we have finished that work, we will have a look at where does our fees for complex transactions have to be approximately to be competitive or attractive to other comparable blockchains. So at that point in time, we will most likely raise the basic transaction fee back up, probably not to where it was at the moment, but somewhere in between where we lower them to now and to where they were before, to achieve a total fee structure that is attractive across both basic data registration and more complex transactions. Where exactly that point is going to be is not possible to say right now. We're going to do some mathematics and some calculations around it. But for now, we think the easy way to do that is just to lower the whole linear curve very much lower, and that will take effect in a week from now. So subsequent to that, we will see how our improvements to the code will affect complex transactions. And at the end of that process, which will be some months down the line, we will decide for where we then put the entire curve of transaction fees. I hope that's not too complicated, but the short-term message is that fees are going lower, significantly lower, which should be very attractive to anyone building, and they will be brought not up to a level where they're not competitive, but to a level where we feel that they are attractive no matter what you do, whether you do complex DeFi transactions or you do simple data registrations or simple transfers. Next questions, please. And this is the last question. It's probably some of you said, oh, I sent in this question about a use case. I'll repeat that we don't want to get into that now. We stay on strategy. There will be, all of those questions will be passed on to other AMAs where they're relevant, by commercial, by tech, by myself during February. But the last question we take here today is, how far do you see decentralization go? Will you be fully decentralized? To start with the latter, yes, that is absolutely the objective for Concordium, to at some point in time be completely decentralized, be completely handed over to the community. I think it would be imprudent to do that while the project is still maturing. So that's why I started out by saying there are kind of three phases. You built the core, which I believe we have to a very high quality. We increase the decentralization, which is the phase we're going into now, and I hope you feel that you've gotten some input on how we're going to go about that practically, and also some very specific examples that are effective more or less immediately. And ultimately, as the project matures, as the ecosystem matures, we certainly aim to be fully decentralized and have the community make all of the relevant decisions around governance, around use of funds, etc. At a point down the line. But it is a process going from building the building phase, which has to be centralized to some degree in a modern blockchain project, I would say, going through the second phase, which is increasing decentralization, and then ultimately, as we're happy with both of those processes, be fully decentralized and hand over entirely the control to the community, which will be sometime down the line, but needs these various phases to be sure that we hand over a fully functional, successful system to the ecosystem and to the community. So with that, we'll wrap up this presentation for today. I hope you found it useful. There will be other AMAs, I repeat, during the month of February. There will be other communications. Please go have a look at the new initiatives. As always, your help is also important. Help us share it, help us distribute it. This will be obviously much more easy now with the digital asset management platform shortly to be launched. but your support and your sharing and your making people aware of Concordium is as important as ever. We are grateful for your support. We appreciate the engagement, and we look forward to increasing the work with our communities and with our ambassadors and people that in general want to support Concordium and help us make this a very successful project. So with that, I wrap up for today. Thank you very much for listening in, and all of the people you saw in the presentation, including myself, will be back to you in the near future with more information, AMAs, etc. Thank you for listening.